Hello everybody, it's me, your buddy Crypto Man, and it's a pleasure to have you back here watching the channel to get your news and just honest insights and opinions and sentiments and what is going on right now within the cryptocurrency scene that I like to share with you guys, because generally I look up this stuff anyway, so it's fun to just talk and share with you what's going on. So yeah, talked about how transaction fees were climbing in the last video, so be sure to check that out as kind of like a part one segue into this part of the news video. And because of that, Coinbase is going to be passing on those transaction fees to the users who use Coinbase. So no longer will they cover your fees, they're going to pay the on-chain fees for you. Now we're all going to have to pay our own fees. So the Ethereum fees are much less compared to Bitcoin due to the inability to scale. So businesses are completely beginning to shift their business models, as per an article on the Bitcoin News website. For example, the website Fiverr, Fiverr.com, in which you can hire a freelancer. Like the intro videos, I hired those dudes on Fiverr and paid for in PayPal, not Bitcoin, because they no longer accept Bitcoin. Where I remember back in the day, we used to have all these times when people would say, oh look, Steam is now accepting Bitcoin. You can get Bitcoin on kind of Amazon through Purse. You can pay through Cheap Air for Bitcoin with Bitcoin. You can use Bitcoin. And that was like literally all the hot news. That was the bumbling news, acceptance. And now eventually got to the point that acceptance really meant this company BitPay was what was considered as Bitcoin acceptance, because it kind of just like washes the hands of a business when they hire BitPay. BitPay deals with everything. They take the Bitcoin, change the money for US dollars, whatever currency, and give it to the business, charges whatever fee or invoice that they have to do. So they allow you to accept Bitcoin as a business, but kind of not have to worry so much about the regulatory tax aspects so much of it, because you're basically accepting US dollars and let them deal with it. And that's really what we've seen a lot of companies, including Steam, accept. They're not accepting the cryptocurrency directly. They're not giving you a Bitcoin address that they hold. So you're not really paying in Bitcoin. So it upsets me because it's not decentralized. That defeats the whole purpose, in my opinion. So anyway, I remember I was thinking like, damn, if Ethereum is such a cool thing, then BitPay obviously would look to add Ethereum, and I'm curious to see if that's on their roadmap. So I wrote them an email and asked them, are you going to be adding Ethereum soon? What's up with that? And they said, we only currently have plans to support Bitcoin and nothing else at this time. So, no. And that was over a year ago. They didn't care. Apparently the Blockstream people, the Bitcoin Core people, the people who aren't such heavy fans apparently of Ethereum, maybe because the rival, for whatever reasons they do give, they apparently are good friends with the BitPay people, and maybe that's why. That's what I've heard controversy about. But I think a company like BitPay, to stay competitive, would ultimately want to have like a FPay as well branch of their company. And if they don't do it, somebody else will. Apparently Coinbase, people have reached out, is working on this kind of project. So, you snooze, you lose. Anyway, so Coinbase is going to be passing on those transaction fees to the users, because as they've grown to millions and millions, over 60 million users of Bitcoin, that's really cutting into their business profits, into their margins, their bottom line, especially when they have other lawsuits happening with like the IRS. So I respect what they're doing. I, at first, for a very long time, didn't realize that they were paying my fees. And when I realized it, I was like, damn, Coinbase is even more awesome than I thought. And I respect and I understand that they can't do it anymore. And I hope other people do as well. But yeah, it might be a little more expensive to transfer Bitcoin. You might not want to be moving small amounts of Bitcoin if you're going to be using them. However, if you're going to be transferring Bitcoin from Coinbase account to Coinbase account, or from like Coinbase to GDAX, or GDAX to Coinbase, which is owned by Coinbase, same company, then you do not have to worry about those fees, because those are off the chain. I mean, they're within their keys and their sets of wallets, so no worries about that. Yeah, so this is really leading to further where people are calling the flippening. And you guys know, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, or even maybe recently if you've caught on, I have been a big Ethereum proponent since I really looked at it and gave it a look. I feel like it's going to change the world. It is a technology that, like, when I first started doing this stuff, I've always looked at technology, right? Let me rewind. I've always looked at technology, and so I've heard of this technology of Internet of Things based on a singularity, in which there are chips embedded in everything, and everything communicates. But what company ultimately is going to be controlling, like, the brunt of these Internet of Things? Is it going to be Cisco routers? They're going to have, like, little miniature routers everywhere. Is it going to be Google? Is it going to be Amazon? Is it going to be Microsoft? Is it going to be Intel? There are countless companies competing to be ahead of this multi-trillion-dollar, fast-growing Internet of Things environment, to make some money, to be a part of it, to not get left out, or maybe to get back in. AMD, Nvidia. And so, a lot of these tech companies that you look at through stocks, you know, you get so stuck in thinking that those are the things, right? These companies. But then when I heard about Ethereum, I just remember thinking, damn, this could literally be the Internet of Things. Because you have a decentralized network in which anyone can just get different nodes that communicate. They pay a small little gas cost, but everything can truly be connected. Because you don't have to worry about one company being monolithic, right? And like, you know, if you try to move your Google Photos, you can't move your Google Photos into your Apple Photos. You just can't, because these are two different ecosystems. So it would kind of suck if you have to, like, buy a door that slides when you're entering the building because it knows that you are the owner, and it slides open of that building automatically if it's a Tuesday, because you only go in on Tuesdays and you sleep on the streets the rest of the days. And I'm getting childish about this now. But what I'm trying to say is that if you buy, like, a special door from this company, from Google, and then you bought, I guess, the key, like the key lock itself mechanism from Apple or from Amazon, whatever it is, a different company, they wouldn't communicate. They wouldn't be able to communicate because they're built on two different protocols and structures and companies that are trying to keep their private business model private and to try to beat the other company. Whereas with something like Ethereum, you don't have to have competition. You could if you want to. This is the Enterprise Ethereum blockchain consortium, but ultimately those companies could also communicate with the public blockchain. So everything can truly be communicated. You can send your Google to Amazon, to Instagram, to Snapchat, to whatever. All these different companies can now connect. And for the user, that is awesome. That's like the big reason that I've never had like a Mac computer, except like in my class for Macintosh in 1995 in New York, like in school. That's the only time I've used Macs, really, or when I'm forced to. But I like having my PC because I can install what I want to. I can upgrade the parts if I want to. I don't have to take it to a store. I can fix it myself. I can get third-party parts. You can't do that with Apple. And so I'm more of an open kind of guy. I guess ultimately there will be people who decide to choose one blockchain to maybe follow. But the public blockchain that I think has the most potential to be the Internet of Things leader is Ethereum. And so it's really rewarding to see Ethereum, because today it just surpassed volume on Poloniex of Bitcoin. There's more Ethereum being traded back and forth than Bitcoin. I've never really seen this. I don't think this has happened before. This is a crazy moment. I don't know. Has it happened? Have you seen any other coin have more volume than Bitcoin? Usually everything trades against Bitcoin. So this is nuts. People are trading Ethereum even more. And there's so many people who haven't been around when we were getting all that bad news about Ethereum, like earlier last year. And I was trying to keep my hopes and everybody else's hopes up, because I knew in the long run that Ethereum hasn't even begun, like, really, to do what it's going to do. This is so early, and so many developers are getting in now. And now with all the bubbling excitement, more people are even finding out about it now and trying to find a way to make a company or a dApp or decentralized application built on Ethereum. So this is exciting. This is like the birth. This is the birth, man. Yeah. And so that's why I've talked about Ethereum. So I'll continue to do that. And I'm not just a maximalist for Ethereum. I do talk about other cryptocurrencies as well. But Ethereum, I think, holds the most potential to be the most ubiquitous and ultimately to encompass the most other tokens and the most other applications and things built for the blockchain. And that's what most developers are working on. And I remember reading on Twitter, somebody said, can't remember the name. Somebody said, isn't it interesting, Bitcoiners, that there are more developers developing for Ethereum than Bitcoin these days? And I guess that's food for thought. And so, I placed my bets. I hope you guys are placing your bets. I am holding Bitcoin as well. And I always held Bitcoin first before I found out about Ethereum. So it's not like I'm only a maximalist and all this stuff. Like I only believe in one coin. I'm holding several coins. And I talked about Zcash Classic and how that's going up a lot in anticipation of Zen and other things. I didn't even know about Zen when I made the investment thesis. I just found out about that. But I felt that based on the market cap, like it was the most stupid steal that there could be. I don't know how much farther it could go. For all I know, it reaches half the market cap of Zcash, Z Classic of Zcash, and that would jump the price 16 times from where it is now, which is like $3, and put it in like what, the $42 range, $40 ranges, which is crazy if you think about it. So that's quite a return. I could see that from where it is now. Dash, small number of coins, a lot of them held and locked up, a lot of them held by one individual or certain individuals. I mean, it's obvious that that's going to pump. And also, there was a BitMEX exchange that added Dash for margin trading, so they could go 100 times long leverage on Dash. That's going to boost the price up, but it could also bring it down very, very quick. I've been overlooking that fact. So, bottom line is, I think, the safest, people like to say, oh, the safest thing is Bitcoin and everything else. I'm like thinking, yeah, I kind of bought that for a while. The safest thing is Bitcoin. But I'm going to have to go with no, not anymore. It's like the ETF was what Bitcoin had looking forward to it. Maybe the hard fork now, which looks farther away. And so I think the safest thing is Ethereum. That's what I'm going to go on a limb and say the safest bet you could place is Ethereum. Everything else is kind of a gamble. Steemit is a gamble. Zcash is a gamble. Z Classic is a gamble. Dash, that's another so-so for me. But it could be a gamble at the price that it's at. Who knows? And with the BitMEX funny stuff going on. So I leave you with that. Let me see if there was any other news topics that I wanted to talk about, because then I'll make another video. No. The amount of people looking on Google for the Flippening has grown. Oh, I also want to mention one last thing, so I'll add it on right here, even though this video is already getting to 15 minutes, which is that be careful if you're getting emails from what looks to be Poloniex exchange or another exchange very similarly, because they are sending out, and I mean spammers, hackers, phishers, the bads. The bads are sending out emails saying that Poloniex wallets are going to be undergoing maintenance, and so you should transfer to this address your cryptocurrencies in the meantime. And so people are getting robbed in this way. So be very careful. Poloniex is not telling people to move around their funds like this. So if you get an email like that, it's not Poloniex. That's a security advisory. A lot of people are out there to take your cryptocurrency, and it's up to you to secure it. And it's yours, and don't get robbed. Be smart. Be wary. Ask questions. Think before you click, before you copy and paste. It's better safe than sorry, especially when moving a lot. Make sure you copy and paste everything. Make sure that you double check the addresses, that if you're sending up from an Ethereum to another Ethereum, it starts with 0x. Check the beginning and the last parts at least. That's always what I do. Don't try to type everything by hand or write it out. Always back up everything in a secure way, preferably in a hardware wallet if you can do that and afford it right now. But yeah, I care about you guys. I want you guys to do well. And thank you for all the love. It's funny how much hate, and I said this before, I get when these coins aren't doing the best, even though I keep talking about the news. But it's great that you guys are in good spirits. But try to keep an even keel, Try to be truthful. Money isn't everything. At the end of the day, just try to be good to each other. And look at what the good things are that the cryptocurrencies you really are investing in, not just trading, but investing in, are going to bring to the world. And I leave you with that. Take care, guys. Subscribe, hit like, comment, and share this, please, on Reddit, on WhatsApp, Facebook groups. with your mother, with your grandmother, whoever would be interested now. Take care, guys. Peace. Talk about cryptocurrency. Do what you can for the community. Much love. Crypto Man out.